Welcome to the Cyber Resilience Report by Data Defenders, where we break down the cyber risks facing mission-critical organizations and the practical strategies leaders can use to protect what matters most. Most of the time when we talk about network security, it sounds like it's just for enterprise IT departments or Fortune 500 companies. But the truth is, if you're running a local government, a nonprofit, a hospital, or any critical service organization, your network is under the same threats, often with far fewer resources to defend it. From shadow IT devices hiding in corners to legacy systems everyone forgot about, your infrastructure has blind spots that attackers are actively looking for. In this episode, we're taking enterprise-grade visibility strategies and showing you how to implement them in resource-constrained environments. No overwhelming complexity, no impossible budgets, just practical technology that gives you the proof your board needs and the visibility your team deserves. Let's get into it. Let's talk about a massive challenge, one that so many mission-critical organizations are facing right now. How are you supposed to manage cyber risk when you can't even see everything that's on your own network? Today, we're going to dive into how to turn that invisible risk into something you can actually see, and more importantly, something you can act on. So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll get into the metrics that actually matter, the ones that show you're making a real impact. Then we'll look at the dangerous visibility gap that stops most places from even tracking them. After that, we'll see how we can actually close that gap, and we'll wrap it all up with a real-world story. You've probably heard this before, right? It's a classic business idea, but it is the absolute bedrock of modern cybersecurity. It reminds us that security isn't just a tech problem to be solved, it's a management challenge to be mastered, because if you can't measure it, you're just guessing, and in this game, guessing is how you lose. Okay, let's get right into those measurements. We're talking about moving past these fuzzy ideas of good security hygiene and getting into hard numbers, metrics that give you concrete proof of your security posture, the kind of proof you can take to your board, to regulators, and to your own team. First on the list is endpoint detection coverage. Now, in plain English, what does that mean? It's simple. Do you know about every single thing that's touching your network? And I mean everything. It's not just the laptops your IT team handed out. It's the security camera down the hall, the smart thermostat in the conference room, or that ancient server humming away in a closet that everyone forgot about. And that leaves us straight to this. You know, the single biggest, most common discovery when we get a proper look at a network is shadow IT. And as Herb Schreib, CIO of Data Defenders, puts it, with almost every organization where this device gets installed, they find things that are completely unexpected to the IT department. Shadow IT. These are the ghosts in your machine. They're unmanaged, they're unpatched, and they are completely invisible. They represent a huge open door for attackers. You just can't protect what you don't even know is there. Okay, next up, patch compliance rate. Think of it like this. The manufacturer of the locks on your building's windows sends out an alert saying, "Hey, we found a flaw in the lock." Your patch compliance rate is a measure of how fast you go around and fix every single one of those locks. A software patch is just that, a fix for a known security hole. So why do we care so much about speed? Well, get this. A staggering 60% of data breaches happen because attackers exploit vulnerabilities that already have a patch available. They're not using some secret zero-day attack, they're literally just walking through doors we already knew were unlocked, but just hadn't gotten around to fixing yet. Now, those first two are huge, but to really get the full picture, you've got to track a few other things. Let's run through them. First, the percent of critical vulnerabilities open. That's your shortlist of the most dangerous holes in your defenses. Then, vulnerability remediation time. How fast are you actually plugging those holes? Incident volume is like your smoke detector. It tells you if attacks are picking up. MFA coverage is absolutely critical. Are your front doors properly locked with multi-factor authentication? Then you have privileged accounts reviewed. Basically, who holds the keys to the kingdom, and are you keeping an eye on them? We also track indicators of phishing and credential compromise because, let's be honest, your people are usually the first target. And all of this rolls up into one big idea, your overall workforce preparedness. So we've just laid out this whole dashboard of crucial metrics, but the hard reality for most of these mission-critical organizations, we're talking local governments, nonprofits, healthcare, is that they are flying completely blind. Let's unpack why that is. I mean, it's the big question, isn't it? If knowing this stuff is so fundamental to staying safe, why is it so darn hard for so many to get their hands on this data? Well, it really comes down to three big problems. First, that shadow IT problem we talked about. New devices are getting connected way faster than any team can track them manually. Second, there's a huge resource gap. These teams have this immense responsibility to protect sensitive data, but they're often working with tight budgets and seriously lean IT teams. And third, all of that creates a trust deficit. Without the data, without the proof, how can they confidently show their board or their regulators that they're doing a good job? Honestly, it boils down to this one simple truth. This one sentence says it all. What you can't see will eventually be used against you. Okay, so that's the problem. It's a big one. So how do we fix it? How do we give these teams the vision they so desperately need? Well, the solution is in technology that makes all this measurement not just possible, but actually pretty simple. And this is where it all clicks together. This is how we connect the how to the what. A technical capability like real-time device discovery is how you get that endpoint detection coverage metric. Being able to see all the software versions on your network is what enables you to accurately measure your patch compliance rate. Monitoring authentication traffic, that's how you track MFA coverage. It's all about using the right tool to get the right number. And the best part is the process itself isn't some massive, complicated project. The key is having technology that can see everything on your network without disrupting anything you're already doing. Here's how. We ship you the DataShield Insight sensor pre-configured. You plug it into your core network, and it just starts working. It immediately begins discovering everything. There are no agents you have to install everywhere, no disruptions. It just sits there, listens, monitors, and then reports everything directly into DataShield Analytics. That's the intelligence layer. This AI-driven operations platform doesn't just collect sensor data. It correlates telemetry from across your entire security ecosystem: endpoint protection, authentication logs, vulnerability scanners, threat intelligence feeds. It connects all those dots in real time, transforming raw network data into those critical metrics we talked about earlier. The result? Immediate clarity and actionable intelligence that supports rapid, precise response. You can get real value in a matter of hours, not months. So that all sounds great in theory, but does it really work out in the wild? Absolutely. Let's take a quick look at a real-world example with the city of Aurora, a city government that was facing the exact same challenges we've been discussing. The second they plugged the sensor in, it started lighting up the map. It found a bunch of old legacy devices the IT team had totally lost track of over the years. It spotted unauthorized shadow IT gear someone had connected. It flagged systems that were running dangerously outdated and vulnerable software. Bam. Just like that, a long list of unknown risks became a clear, prioritized to-do list. The result for the city was a total game changer. They went from a state of just not knowing to having this incredible, unprecedented level of visibility. From there, they could take targeted action to shrink their attack surface. And maybe just as important, they finally had the hard data to prove they were doing their due diligence. They went from guessing to knowing. And really, that brings us to the final thought, the one question to leave you with. Every organization has blind spots. The only real question is, what's hiding on yours? Thanks for tuning in. You've been listening to the Cyber Resilience Report, your guide to turning cybersecurity challenges into manageable, measurable solutions. If this episode helped you understand how to prove your security impact and close your visibility gaps, make sure to subscribe, like, and follow so you don't miss future briefings on protecting your organization, your stakeholders, and the communities you serve. If you're ready to take the next step, head over to data-defenders.com/resources. You'll find practical implementation guides, assessment checklists, and real-world frameworks based on the same strategies we use to protect critical infrastructure, hospitals, and municipalities just like yours. There, you'll also get access to our dedicated notebook LM instance by Google, available 24/7, to help you explore these concepts, prepare for board presentations or budget conversations, and get clear answers about implementing visibility solutions in your environment. Because in today's threat landscape, cybersecurity leadership isn't about having unlimited resources or being a technical expert. It's about making smart, measured investments in visibility and proving the impact of every security dollar you spend. Thanks for listening to the Cyber Resilience Report by Data Defenders. Subscribe on Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, and Amazon Music to get alerts on new releases. Protect and secure what matters.